it's Michele from Scrap Secrets, and welcome to my Halloween card series for 2020. In today's card, we are going to be using Distress Oxides in Squeezed Lemonade and Carved Pumpkin. We're going to be using the Cottontail brushes from the Rabbit Hole Designs, a stamp set called All About the Booze, and a stencil called the Candy Corn stencil from Sassy and Crafty. I'm going to take the images from the All About the Booze and place them on this piece of white scrap cardstock. Now this is 65-pound Recollections cardstocks, just ones that I had lying around in my stash. And I will be inking them up with Catherine Pooler Midnight ink. That is a Copics safe ink, and we are going to be doing a little bit of Copic coloring. We're not going to be doing much, or else I would use a heavier weight cardstock, but since we're just kind of laying down some colors, I decided that it didn't really matter that we use the lighter cardstock. So I'm just running my hands over the images to make sure that there were no air bubbles, and you see that there was one there, as well as trying to take the film, any film that might have been left on the stamp from production, take that off of there. So now we're inking it up with the Catherine Pooler Midnight ink, and you'll see me ink it up a couple times. I try not to press too hard or shake the desk because I record on a gooseneck mount, and if you shake the desk too much, it shakes as well. So I try not to do that, so I may have to ink it up more than one time because of that. I'm just gonna keep inking it up until I get a really good impression and stamp it out. And then we're going to put it to the side to dry. The ink dries fairly quickly, but using Copic markers, I like to give it a little bit of time to dry so I don't smudge any of it. So after this, I realize there's a good stamped impression, take it off and place it to the side so that we can work on the background piece. I'm going to take out that stencil called Candy Corn Stencil from Sassy and Crafty and use the two colors of Distress Oxide with my brand new pristine Cottontail brushes from the Rabbit Hole Design that I had such anxiety about inking up. But they are amazing. The reason I had anxiety is because they are so white and pristine and gorgeous, and I was like, I can't believe I'm going to put ink on these. But it's okay. They survived, and they do such a great job. So now, because the stencil is not super intricate, I'm not going to use the pixie spray. I'm just going to use some tape on the back to hold the paper to the stencil, and then some tape to hold the stencil to my desk. Here we go. I'm going to ink up the brush, the first one ever, with the Squeezed Lemonade. And I realized, okay, it's not that bad. And I got over my anxiety pretty quickly because they were great blending brushes. They worked so well with the Distress Oxides that I actually got 10 more brushes. So if you saw the haul before this, you'll know that I got 10 more from the Rabbit Hole Designs. And I had 6 from the initial order. So now I'm going to go in with my carved pumpkin and ink that up. Now I feel like the carved pumpkin took over a little bit of the stencil. It kind of blended in with the Squeezed Lemonade, and I felt like there wasn't enough of that yellow in there. So I just go back and forth until I'm happy with the blends that I got. And the end result came out beautifully. So some of them are yellow, some of them are orange, and some of them are orange and yellow, which is the look that I was going for. So I will go back in and blend until I'm happy. And then once that's done, I will take off the stencil from the paper and you will see how beautiful the background turns out. I really love it. I love the way this thing turned out. So here you go. So I rinsed the stencil off screen, but here is the background. I'm going to place that to the side and we are going to start coloring the top right image. That's the only image that we're going to use in this card, even though I did stamp out 3. I wasn't sure what I was going to use, but these images are pretty substantial, so I just decided to go with the 1. The Copic markers that I'm using for the pumpkin are RY16 and R38. I will also use an N8 on the face of the pumpkin. Now I probably should have used a 3-color blend, but I was trying not to go over that too much because the paper is not that thick. It's not the normal paper that I would use for Copic markers. So while I'm coloring this image in, I just wanted to see, do you guys normally make Halloween cards? This is the first year that I've ever made them. I mean, I've made them before, but I've never really given them out. So this is the first year I plan on giving them out to my nieces and possibly sending them for card donations and things like that. We're also doing a Halloween series, and it will be on October. All of us will post on October 1st and October 31st, and then we all have a day to post in between there. So my day is Sundays, so you will see posts from me October 1st, the 31st, and every Sunday in between. So I'm super excited about that because I did get a lot of stamps and stencils and things that I can use for this card series, which is one of the reasons that I got them, although I didn't need much help with buying more things. So anyway, so I just wanted to see, do you guys make Halloween cards? And if you do you send them out? Do you just make them for yourselves because you love the holiday? I know a lot of my fellow YouTubers love Halloween. I was just curious to see if anybody made them, kind of like you make Christmas cards. I know a lot of people will make their own Christmas cards. I do. And I just never really thought to give out Halloween cards, but I will be this year. So after I color in the hat with the N8, N6, we're going to go in with Y18 and Y13 to do the yellow band on the, I guess I'm going to call it like a witch's hat. So we're going to go over that. And I just wanted to do really quick, easy blends. I kind of kept to two. The only thing 3-color blend that I did was the hat. I actually went back in with, here you go, with the N4 and filled that in. I think I left too much of a white space. So I just wanted to go over it with the N4 a little bit. And then for the color of the ghost, because even though the ghost is white, you still do have some shading and areas that would be darker than others, like underneath her hand and where she's holding on to the pumpkin, those would be darker. So I used a 2-color blend with this one, a BV000, so BV quadruple, and a BV000, which is the BV triplet, the triple BV, BV0. So anyway, my brain is not working today. My 3 nieces went to their cheerleading games this morning, and I'm a little exhausted. But anyway, so went over that with the lighter and darker BV colors and just kind of spread that out a little bit. And once that is done, I wanted to do a non-traditional. I wanted to do purple instead of the gray or blue that most people would normally do for the shadows. So now I'm taking a white gel pen and putting eyeballs in the eyes, as well as taking a black brush marker and doing 3 little strokes and doing little eyelashes on either side of the ghost's head, just to give it a little bit more personality. I like to add things to my stamped images. Now I fussy cut it out with some scissors, and it does have a thick black line, but for me, there was a couple areas where I either slipped a little bit or I didn't get a great cut on it. So I'm going around with a thick black marker, the chisel tip, and going around the whole image just to kind of finish it off so you don't see any of the white edges of the paper because it's a white core paper. So going all around it, and then I'm going to go back in with the tip of it, the bullet tip, just in some of the smaller areas to get those lines as well. And then I believe I come back in with, here's my white gel pen, and I'm going to do some highlights on the hat. I liked the first 2. I went and put a 3rd one on, and I wasn't completely crazy about it, but it is what it is. I did it, so that's the way it's going to stay. Didn't want to start over at that point. Now we're going to get ready to put the card together. So it is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 black card base that opens on the top, but instead of it being a longer card, it's actually a wider card. So we're going to put MFT On Point Precision Glue on the back of the background piece, one because I couldn't find my ATG gun, so that was the glue that was around. And now we're going to use some pop dots to put on the back of the ghost to pop it up, because it is a fairly simple card. And you'll notice that I didn't put any sentiments on there. I like to put something on the inside, but I like to wait until I know who this card is going to. So once I know who it's going to, I will put a piece of white cardstock inside the card, put a sentiment in there, put a message in there, and then give it to the recipient. So that is essentially, like, once I finished putting the pop dots on and gluing the ghost on, that's essentially the card for the day. So thank you guys so much for watching, for commenting, for liking, subscribing. I really, really appreciate it. And if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below in the comment section. And I'll see you again real soon for another video.